Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through. We're here with a little 2020 version of the Unit 5 test preview. With my boy Adrian. You ready for this, Adrian?
Yep.
I'm going to ask you some questions. You might want to pause the video if you're watching from home and take a look at these topics. These are the things that you need to be able to do on this test. Okay? So after we're done with this, I want you to go back, pause the video, and watch this again and just take a look at those topics. What we're going to do here is we're going to do one problem from each one of these topics. Got it? Okay, the first one. I think the key of algebra is being able to understand what the directions are telling us. Find 2 points that satisfy that equation. Okay? I just made my y disappear. So, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. But the best way is to put in a 0 for the other one. So Adrian, if I put in a 0 for the x, what number would I put in for y so that my result on the left side is 30? Very good. So there's 1 point that works. Okay, now if I put in a 0 for y, what would I put in for x to give me 30? Excellent. Now, those are not the only 2 answers. There are infinitely many answers to that question, but those are 2 of them, and they asked me for 2. Does that make sense? Graph the solution on a number line. All right, there's a 1 here in front of that. I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. Remember, if you're following along at home, you should pause the video, do the problem, and then watch me do the solution. You don't learn by watching nearly as well as you learn by doing. So, you get 2x plus 5 is less than 7. Subtract 5. Whoops. From both sides, and we'll write this next result up here. You get 2x is less than 2. Next step, divide by 2. Now, if we were to divide by -2, we'd have to flip the sign, so remember that. But we don't, so we just say x is less than 1. So there will be a number line provided for you on the test. Since x is less than 1, is 1 less than 1? It's not. Very good. So this number does not work. So we put an open dot on there to indicate to our reader that one does not work. And then we shade everything to the left of it because all of these numbers are less than 1. So that's what our answer looks like. Does that make sense? Rewrite the following in slope-intercept form. That looks like this. So I need to solve this thing for y. First thing I'm going to do is distribute. See you, Tara. Now, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So the answer is y equals 4x plus 14. Adrian, I'm just curious, what's the slope of that equation? 4. Very good. What's the y-intercept? Very good. On the number 4, solve the system of equations. So this is a system of equations using substitution. I think the thing that they want us to substitute is to put in 2x plus 3 anywhere I see y. Okay. What does y equal? Y equals 2x plus 3. So I rewrote my original equation, but I took out the y and I substituted in the x. Now this is an equation I can solve because there's only one letter, only one variable. So I'm going to distribute this. Three x plus 8x is 11x. Oh, this is going to be nasty. I think on your test, the answers are a lot cleaner than this. So sorry. You get 11x equals 48. Okay. What's 48 divided by 11, Adrian? What is it? Okay, good. It's about 4.36 repeating. All right, so then to find y, well, y is 2x plus 3. All right, let's put that in your calculator. 2 times parentheses 48 divided by 11, and then add 3. Adrian, what'd you get? 11.72 repeating. So that's why. Typically you're going to write these answers as ordered pairs, Adrian. So it's going to be 4.36 repeating, comma 11.72 repeating. All right, now this one has different directions. It says solve this system of equations using elimination. Notice this one sets up very nicely for elimination. If I add these two equations together, what's 2x plus 3x? What's 1y plus negative 1y? 0y, which is gone. 0 times anything is 0. So that eliminates the y's. That's what we're trying to do. 18 plus negative 8 is 10. Well, this is an equation we can solve now. Divide each side by 5. And you get x is 2. Therefore, y equals, well, we got to plug it back in. So I'll just use the first one. X is 2, so that's 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. And you get y is 14. So you could write the answer like an ordered pair. So far, so good? Okay. Do the following inequalities have 1, 0, or infinite solutions? Y equals 3x, sorry, do the following equations. Y equals 3x plus 6, y equals 3x plus 8. Let's put them in our graphing calculator and take a look. You might already know the answer. If so, that's great. The answer is no solutions. Good, Adrian. Those lines are going to be parallel, so they're never going to touch each other. The answer is 0 solutions. Okay? Hey, if you don't know like when something will have one solution or when it'll have infinite solutions, come see me. I'll explain that to you. All right. This looks like a line, Adrian. And notice that the line is filled in. Do you understand that? And then I also want you to notice that it's shaded above the line. So that means this is going to be y is greater than or equal to. The greater than comes from the fact that it's above the line. Do you understand that? The equals to is what fills this line in and stops it from being dotted. Now, what's the slope of this line? Let's see. If I go, let's see, it looks like I go over this many, up that many. Oh, that's nasty. Let's see, I don't want to do that. Let's look at these 2 points here, Adrian. Looks like I went over 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the slope is rise over run. What's 6 divided by 2? So the slope is 3, so it's y is greater than 3x. What's the y-intercept? What is that point right there, you think? Very good. You understand how we got that? We found our slope. We found our y-intercept. It was greater than because it was shaded above. It was greater than or equal to because our line was filled in. That's a great math problem right there. All right. Graph the following systems of equations. Okay, let's graph this second one first. We'll graph it in red. The y-intercept is 1 and the slope is -3. It's greater than or equal to, so this is going to be a filled in line. And it's above it because of the greater than. Now, in blue, we'll graph this line, but we can't graph it yet. Let's divide everything by 2. Okay? Oops, that should be a 4. What am I doing? There we go. Okay? Alright, so now we got a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of +3. Over 1, up 1, 2, 3. This line has got to be dashed. Whoops. And we want it to be blue. So it's going to look something like that. Do you understand why it's dashed, Adrian? Because there's no equals to underneath. Yeah, very good. Now, y is less than. So this is going to be all below the line. So the answer to this question is the areas that overlap. Whoops. So it's going to look like this. Okay. Your final question is a word problem involving inequalities. So you want to look at the end of your homework and a couple of your quizzes. There's a lot of examples of word problems. We're going to be done with the video now. Can I get a boom? Boom! Boom!